This is real. Trump is very, very serious about crypto. Now, here's the thing. I'm not telling you should go all in on cryptocurrencies. I'm not saying you should mortgage your house or you should cash out everything for crypto. What I'm telling you is you should listen and pay attention very, very closely to the systematic change that is happening within your financial system. Write this down. We're moving from an inflationary US dollar that makes you poor every single year to a deflationary monetary system that makes you wealthier every single year. Now, what's going to happen is by 2030, there's going to be very, very wealthy and the working class. There's going to be no middle class. With AI technology, the infrastructural changes, there's going to be people who own the system and the people who use the system. The system has to change. So what we did from 2020 to 2022 is we picked what we believed was going to be here. And ironically, the top 5 cryptos that Trump mentioned, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, ADA, were all the ones we've been talking about since 2020. So how did we decide that? Because we looked historical at the patterns that happened over and over and over again. The 50-year Shemitah, the 7-year Jubilee, monetary debt resets, fiat systems always collapse every single time. And we understood that there's an infrastructural change that has to happen. And we're making very speculative guesses. Okay. We're not skeptics. Skeptics always end up broke. Speculative people that make proper decisions based on fundamentals do very, very well. Get rich quick people chasing candles, chasing meme coins and pump and dumps get wrecked 100% of the time. So as I present to you on this channel, this is all about taking the middle ground, being stoic and being calm. What I'm about to show you today is Howard Lutnick, who is in charge of the Sovereign Wealth Fund, who's just right next to Trump in many pictures, is massive in crypto. And I'm going to show you the big announcement that was made. So there's going to be a moment where people are going to be flooding in adoption, and you're still in speculation and regulation phase where the wealth is built. So we're first going to watch this brief video right here. This is CNBC. Andrew Ross reports on Feds loosening against banks dealing with Bitcoin. And then we're going to look at the big deal that just happened, and I'm going to show you the deep connection to the White House around Bitcoin.
Banking regulators pulling back some U.S. cryptocurrency guidance. This is interesting, guys, because the Fed said it was withdrawing supervisory letters that said that banks should seek advance approval from authorities before engaging in crypto asset and stablecoin activities. In addition, the Fed, the FDIC, and the Office of the Controllers of the Currency pulled back statements from 2023 that urged banks to be careful when it comes to crypto-related risks. During the 2024 campaign for the White House, President Trump promised crypto investors that he would have their backs if he was reelected. In a statement announcing the latest changes, the Fed said that regulators would look into whether new guidance to support crypto asset innovation was appropriate. But it means effectively that I think a lot of those letters has scared the banking system sort of out of getting meaningfully involved in crypto. And now they're saying, do what you like.
Do what you like. They don't have a choice, guys. They don't have a choice. Now, buckle up, okay? We're going to watch the first part of this video, but I'll read to you what this is about. This is how you need to go deeper into what is actually happening and start to look at the infrastructural connections, the people that Trump placed, okay? He has 1 year before the midterms to get all this implemented, okay? This is what I believe is going to happen. You saw the initial shock with the tariffs. May is going to start to loosen up a little bit. It used to be sell and May go away, but based on cryptocurrency, the cycle just got radically transformed, right? What I believe is going to happen, all the dust is going to settle. We're going to start to see some stability in July. June, they'll probably lower interest rates, and we'll start to see the markets go up dramatically on the back end of the year. But remember, what goes up must come down, and cash flow is king, not cash. Cash flow is king. So on my channel, we have a lot of new content coming out where I'm sharing with you exactly what I do to create cash flow, protect, and compound. Check this out. New 300 billion. This is really important. 300 billion SoftBank, write down SoftBank, Tether, and Cantor, write down Cantor, are launching a multi-billion-dollar Bitcoin acquisition vehicle to compete with Michael Saylor's strategy. So you got Michael Saylor, who's sitting at the White House, who is a Bitcoin strategic reserve now. Excuse me, they are a treasury now. Went from a software company to a Bitcoin treasury. You have SoftBank, Tether, and Cantor, which we're going to dive deep into Cantor and show you the connections to the White House, are building a fund to compete with Bitcoin.
This week, 3 massive companies and investment firms dropped a bullish bombshell. SoftBank, Tether, and Cantor Fitzgerald are teaming up to launch a $3 billion acquisition vehicle called 21 Capital. And the kicker, Jack Mallers, founder and CEO of Strike, is going to be leading the charge of this new Bitcoin treasury company. On this episode of Bitcoin Backstage.
Okay, that was massive, guys. So now you're going to start to see a lot of companies coming together to compete against Michael Saylor, Cantor, and this new 21 shares thing. Okay, so now this is where we go a little bit deeper. Okay, that's a great big announcement. What does that mean for the White House? What does that mean for America? SoftBank grasped the riskiest end of cryptomania. Let's scroll down. On Wednesday, a lineup of crypto luminaries unveiled 21 Capital. It will go public by merging with special purpose, so SPACs, okay, with the company Cantor Equity Partners, run by Brandon Lutnick, the son of President Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. Okay, so this massive deal right here, SoftBank coming together, they're creating 21 Capital, which Cantor is a massive piece of that, run by Brandon Lutnick, which is Howard Lutnick's son. Okay. Crypto czar opening up banking to crypto will help drive further Main Street adoption. And I'm going to leave you with this video that was posted. I've showed this one to you guys before, but this is, oh my God, well, I just forgot his name. Sorry. My apologies. It'll kick in at the back end of this video. My God, totally no disrespect. I love his videos. But he's asked the question of Howard Lutnick around Bitcoin. So remember, Howard Lutnick's son runs Cantor, which just made a massive deal that wants to compete against Michael Saylor.
I have one last question for you before I let you go. How rich are you? And how
Anthony Papiano. Sorry about that.
How much of your net worth is in Bitcoin?
To give you perspective, this is Howard Lutnick he's speaking to.
Because if I don't ask you, everyone will be really mad at me.
If you took my stake in my public companies, which is public, and you did the public math, you'd see a couple of $1 billion.
Okay.
Okay. And then at least a couple of $1 billion. And then you'd have, what's Cantor worth? Yeah, I'm not saying. Okay.
What's Cantor worth? He's not saying. Go study what Cantor does, guys.
But things are good for me. How about that? Is that a nice way to say it? Since Cantor owns the stakes in the other companies, it's good for me. So, and I have
like the percentage. You don't have to say exact number, but like, how do you think about either you or Cantor?
I don't have a big enough percentage. I probably have, I can't say because then people can figure out that no, how much I have. I would say I have hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
Okay. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars exposure to Bitcoin.
I don't know what else to tell you guys. That is the Commerce Secretary for the United States. He has hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin. Okay. Cantor just did the huge deal with SoftBank, competing with Michael Saylor. This is what you're going to see now. Guys, the middle class has to wake up to what is happening. The old 401k model, the pension model, the saving your money under a mattress, storing your money in a bank, your money has 3% purchasing power. That's it. The system has to move from inflationary to deflationary. Now, the good news about this is they're going to turn the printing machine back on. They have to, guys. There's only 2 ways they can fix this. Temporarily, they have to lower interest rates and pump a shitload of liquidity into the economy. And what does that do for gold, silver, Bitcoin, XRP? And the reason why I bring up those two, they're specifically deflationary. They're the opposite of the traditional financial system. Real estate, okay? But the problem is the unsuspecting public doesn't understand how to create cash flow. They get paid in debt, okay? There's no money in the system. You get paid in debt, and then you store your money in a bank with 3% purchasing power. And then you go to the bank to get an auto loan and you borrow against your future self, taking away from your future self. You get a $30,000 loan for a car when you make $40,000 a year, which is not the way you should do it, And then you go get a 30-year mortgage, right? So you're extending your future self. So if you make $100,000, you get a $30,000 loan on a car, you extended your purchasing power to $130,000, but you don't have the actual money to pay for that $30,000. So you tack that onto your future self, hoping that you'll increase your income. But think about that. If your company doesn't give you a raise that doesn't beat inflation at 2% every year, you become poor every single year. This is the opportunity to wake up, to reduce expenses, to get rid of the debts, to get rid of the personal debts. Okay. Get down to debts and non-negotiables, and then learn how to transmute your pay and save first and then spend last. Whatever's left, that's the type of car you should own. Right? So if you're making $100,000 a year, you drive a car that's less than $10,000 minimum. If you make $1 million a year, okay, you shouldn't have $1 million, $2 million home. Okay. You should live relative to your net worth. Okay. And that's how I started doing it. I flip-flopped in 2020. And as I started to gain more wealth, I transmuted that into creating cash flow. And then when I created cash flow, I took it and I transmuted it into deflationary assets. I took a deflationary asset like Bitcoin. I borrowed, I leveraged, and I bought a cash generating asset. Cash generating asset pays off the leverage. Okay. This is so critical to understand how this works. So, I'm not telling you go buy crypto. I'm telling you to learn how inflationary and deflationary works. You have to create cash flow. Read the book Cash Flow Quadrant. Okay. So I want to share with you guys. I'm going to share with you guys these resources every day. Down in the description of this YouTube video or in my social media platform, click the link. These are my only resources. Okay. QFS accounts are a scam. I do not invest people's crypto. We don't have a trading platform. What I do have for you is a free guide to financial freedom. It's my guide on how I do everything. I'm super transparent with you guys. We have a Revive retreat, which is a spiritual retreat that's coming up. With the Coach JV Academy, we've helped 11,000 people worldwide get their shit together. Okay, we have the live workshop where I take you through 4-week series. I teach you exactly what I'm doing. We teach you how to fish. We don't give you a fish. I show you my ecosystem, how I do it, why I enter, why I exit, what I invest in, why I invest in. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you how I do it so that you can study and learn how to do this for a lifetime. We also have our insurance company, Freedom Insurance, where I teach people, okay, there's what I do with my cash is I protect, I compound, and I grow cash flow. Okay. Protection is my insurance. So it's all about having protection, leverage, and market-like returns. So on my Bitcoin side, I have my Bitcoin bank, and on my insurance side, I have a bank. So I have a family bank on my insurance side, and I have a family bank on my Bitcoin side. Okay. Then in between, I'm just creating cash flow, filling the bank, right? Then eventually you no longer have to be part of the normal system. Okay. Now, normal system, this is what the wealthy do. The wealthy leverage, they use insurance. And we're not talking about term insurance. That's very important to protect your family. We're not talking about car insurance, home insurance. We're talking about cash value life insurance. Okay. Cash value life insurance is one of the greatest pathways to wealth that we have not been taught. So I'm going to keep bringing you these videos to keep you calm, to keep you stoic. You have to get out of the get rich quick mentality. Okay. You have to. It's really important. I would recommend, and I share this with all my warriors, put on a 6-year, 10-year horizon. If you can't be patient for 6 to 10 years, you're never going to win in this game. The person who can stay in the market the longest becomes the wealthiest. The person who is most patient and persistent and very strategic with every amount of cash flow they get, richest man in Babylon, cash flow quadrant, becomes the wealthiest. Wealth is patient, it's persistent, it's disciplined, it's calm, it's non-emotional, it's strategic, it doesn't risk its money. Okay. So that's why you don't hear me talking about crypto projects and new hype things. I only share fundamentals and what I'm actually doing. So next phase for me is real estate, right? I'm learning some really cool, because there's tax liabilities, there's expenses, then there's tax liabilities, and there's structuring of your business accounts, which we did, and there's foundations, and there's other things you can do insurance wise. And now I'm understanding the real estate game, and you can do self-directed 401ks where you can take that, or excuse me, IRAs, and you can invest in the real estate. There's so much neat stuff you can do once you get into it, right? Everybody's trying to avoid taxes, but there's ways you can defer your taxes. There's tax liabilities. There's all kinds of different things you can do. So as we gain wealth, we have to understand how to keep that wealth within our family ecosystem. Okay. So I love you guys. I really, really do. I appreciate you. If you made it this far, comment warriors down below. I want to hear you. I love you guys. Warriors. Let's get your shit together. Let's go.